So you just watched the Netflix slasher movie, There's Someone Inside Your House. But how close were you paying attention? We're about to find out. This is 13 Scary Questions. I'm Griff Robodanger, and this is 13 Scary Questions. Here's how it works. I'm going to challenge you with 13 questions about the movie There's Someone Inside Your House. Some of these questions may be easy, but some
might be quite evil.
Answer these questions and keep track of how many you get correct. At the end of the game, I'll reveal your fate. Can you survive 13 scary questions, or will your wrong answers get you killed by a psychopath wearing a mask of your face? Of course, this video contains spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie yet, you've been warned. With that out of the way, let the games begin.
Question 1.
At the beginning of the movie, football player Jackson is hunted in his home by the killer. What item does Jackson grab to defend himself? A. Baseball bat. B. Tennis racket. C. Golf club. D. Hockey stick. The correct answer is C. Golf club. Jackson stupidly goes into the closet, takes a couple of whacks at the clothes hanging up, but gets killed anyway because the killer was hiding at ground level. The irony is, if Jackson simply swung the golf club like he was trying to hit a golf ball, he might have actually nailed the killer and he'd still be alive today.
Question 2.
The characters in this movie attend Osborne High School. What is the Osborne High School mascot? A. Honey badger. B. Devil dog. C. Wampus cat. D. Cornhusker. The correct answer is C. Wampus cat. If you're wondering what a wampus cat is, apparently it's a fearsome feline creature in American folklore, described as a large sort of six-legged mountain lion with glowing eyes that stalks its prey at night.
Question 3.
Our hero, Makani, lives with her grandmother. Her grandmother suffers from a sleep disorder that she has to go away to get treatment for. What is Makani's grandmother's condition? A. Sleepwalking. B. Night terrors. C. Sleep paralysis. D. Narcolepsy. The correct answer is A. Sleepwalking. Sleepwalking episodes can last from a few seconds to a half an hour, with most occurrences being over in under 10 minutes.
Question 4.
While helping to prepare the church for Jackson's memorial service, student council president and racist podcaster Katie is surprised by the killer, who's dressed as a nun. She screams for help, but nobody can help her because the killer has locked the church doors. When they finally get in, Katie is already dead. Where do they find Katie's body? A. Crucified on a cross. B. In the confessional booth. C. In the aisle of the church. D. Hanging from the roof. The correct answer is D. Hanging from the roof. Okay, seriously, how did the killer have time to do that? There were people waiting outside the church while she was getting killed. Was the preacher just really late? Or was he just really bad at getting into his own church? Sundays must be torture for this poor guy.
Question 5.
You guys are gonna hate this one. After everyone is interrogated by the police, Makani goes for a ride in Ollie's car. She pulls out a shoebox filled with cassette tapes. What brand is the shoebox from? A. Converse. B. Vans. C. DC. D. Adidas. The correct answer is A. Converse. Look, I told you some of these questions were gonna be evil.
Question 6.
After a deadly game of hide-and-seek in the Sanford mansion, poor Rodrigo finally meets his grisly demise in a fountain filled with beer cans. How does Rodrigo ultimately die? A. He's electrocuted via taser while in the fountain. B. He's drowned in the fountain. C. He's knifed in the gut. D. His throat is slashed. The correct answer is D. His throat is slashed. Rodrigo was tased, but ultimately the throat slashing's what killed him. That, and his inability to run in the same direction as the other 100 or so partygoers who were fleeing the scene in fear.
Question 7.
Let's talk about Ollie, Makani's secret love interest and chief suspect for the murders because of his troubled past. Ollie reveals that his parents were killed in a car accident. What kind of car accident killed Ollie's parents? A. They crashed into a tree. B. They were hit by a train. C. They drove off a bridge. D. They collided with a corn truck. The correct answer is A. They crashed into a tree. You know, I didn't see a lot of trees in Osborne, just a bunch of corn. Ollie's parents must have had terrible luck.
Question 8.
In a pivotal scene, Makani is alone at home and she goes to sleep. When she wakes up, she is shocked to discover that 3 items that were in the room when she went to bed are no longer in the places she left them. What is not one of the 3 items the killer moved? A. Phone. B. Keys. C. Chair. D. Knife. The correct answer is B. Keys. Makani had left her phone and a knife on her bedside dresser and had a chair propped up by the door when she went to bed.
Question 9.
So, Makani's big secret is revealed to be that she once got drunk at a beach party and shoved a girl into a bonfire, burning half the girl's face off. Ugh. What was the name of the girl Makani tossed into the fire? A. Ariel. B. Moana. C. Anna. D. Jasmine. The correct answer is D. Jasmine. Jasmine later revealed that her thoughts right before going into the bonfire were unbelievable sight, indescribable feeling, soaring, tumbling, freewheeling through a holy crap, I'm on fire!
Question 10.
Despite all the murdering still going on in Osborne, the town still insists on holding their big fall harvest festival. What is the theme of the fall harvest festival? A. Corn to be wild. B. Corn in the USA. C. Every rose has its corn. D. Corn Hub. The correct answer is B. Corn in the USA. If you guessed D, well, I guess we all know what you were doing instead of paying attention to the movie.
Question 11.
The true hero of the movie may be Ollie's car, which valiantly gives its life as Makani and her friends drive through a flaming cornfield in the film's big climax. What make of car did Ollie drive? A. Chevrolet. B. Dodge. C. Oldsmobile. D. Ford. The correct answer is D. Ford. If you got that one wrong, well, they only showed the car like 100 times.
Question 12.
Throughout the film, the killer wears 3D printed masks of his intended victims right before he tries to kill them. How many different masks does the killer wear throughout the film? A. 4. B. 5. C. 6. D. 7. The correct answer is C. 6 masks. Zach wears masks of the faces of Jackson, Katie, Rodrigo, Makani, Caleb, and his dad, Skipper.
Question 13.
There's Someone Inside Your House is an adaptation of a 2017 novel. Who wrote the original novel? A. Sarah Shepard. B. Stephanie Meyer. C. R.L. Stein. D. Stephanie Perkins. The correct answer is D. Stephanie Perkins. Stephanie first fell in love with slash movies as a teenager in the late 90s when Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer ruled the box office. Did your big brain save you from a horrible fate? Let's find out. If you got all 13 right, congratulations! You survived without a scratch and you've been voted Queen of the Corn Festival, which I'm told is a huge honor. If you got 10, 11, or 12 correct, you survived without a scratch and Ollie made you a mixtape. Unfortunately, he left it in his shoebox, which was in the car that caught on fire, but you probably didn't have a cassette player anyway, so who cares? If you got 7, 8, or 9 correct, you survived. However, the killer just revealed your darkest secrets to the whole world. Yes, even the corn hub thing. If you got 5 or 6 correct, you survived, but drunk Makani just shoved you headfirst into a bonfire, so you sorta have a Freddy Krueger thing going on with your face right now. But if you got 4 or less correct, you've been impaled with a knife in the middle of a corn maze, and you were so close to finding the exit. How did you do? Share your score down in the comments, and be sure to join us next time for another 13 scary questions. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. Thank you for playing, and later, Danger Seekers.